Has it been hot?
Oh, that's 100 degrees.
Well,
My two sons are working on the family farm and they come home every night just exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So,
uh,
well, I am going to go ahead and get started. And as people come in, then they will just catch up as we go. I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. Um, I always wonder how many people am I going to have, and it's nice to have more than one or two. So thank you so much for being here. I want to introduce my partner, my business partner, and my friend to you, Sherry Fioca. Sherry is the designer part of Done in a Day website, and that's kind of what we'll be talking about today. So, Sherry, as we go through, if you've got anything to add, please feel free to just jump right in.
Love to. Thanks.
I've got a question for you. Put your website, the URL for your website in the chat. Okay. Eugene, I'm gonna put the spotlight on you. Why do you not have a full website yet?
I'm 10 weeks into business registration, so it's one of the priority, but haven't fulfilled it. In progress.
Okay, awesome. Christina, do you have a website? And Richard, how about you?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
used to have one, but I dropped it years ago.
All right, all right. And John, how about you? Do you have a website? All right. Well, if you uh, come back, then just let me know what your website is. And my big question is why? And why are you here? Why are you here today? Please
uh,
unmute and just spout it out.
it is possible to put our LinkedIn links as well, or it is not the place to do that.
You can, if you want, you can put your information here and then everyone can save the chat at the end to have contact information. Just realize that if you put your contact information in the chat, then that's kind of allowing people to contact you.
Yep.
So yeah, so be aware that if you do that, then you are giving them permission to contact you at some point.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
I'll
Well,
share. I created my website early on in my business, and my business has gotten additional clarity. And also, I've decided different things that I want to be offering, so I need to revamp it. But every time I go to try and, like, I'm a DIYer, like I want to do it myself, and I don't have time.
okay, okay. So let me share my screen here and start my presentation because I put so much work into it. I asked Gamma to help me do it, and Gamma did. So this is AI at its finest. So today we're going to talk about why websites tend to fail, and there are a lot of reasons. But we're also going to talk about things that you can do to ensure that your website doesn't fail. So something like making sure that you're clear with your message, making sure that you know who you're talking to and what you're saying to them, and that you're being you're not being clever, you're being clear, because clever does not sell, clear does. And I'm coming to that realization because our brains are designed to do two things. One is to keep us safe, and the other one is to help us save calories. Now, why? Why help us save calories? Well, that lizard part of your brain that formed when you at the very beginning of your body being created inside your mom, uh, it's the part of your brain that covers everything that you need to keep safe. And if you were back in caveman days, then that lizard part of your brain would have said, no, you don't want to go out and hunt that mammoth by yourself. That's stupid. You need to take a lot of people with you to hunt that mammoth. And you want to save calories because you never knew when your next meal was coming. And so if we are unclear, if we make our visitors, our website visitors, think too hard, that is, use too many calories, they're just going to bounce off and go someplace where they don't have to think that hard. So what we're going to do today is about how you turn confusion into conversion, where you need strategy and style and clarity before code. So, and I started off that before I moved on to the next screen, and that's everything I was going to say. So if you've ever felt yourself being stuck by just staring at a blank screen or hours of tweaking colors, I want this shade, no, I want that shade. But then, I mean, you've worked so hard on getting everything exactly the way you want it, but it doesn't convert. Doesn't that feel like it just feels so heartbreaking that you've spent so much time on this site and it's not doing its job? And I guess the first question is, what is your website's job? Well, your website is the one place that you own that is available 24/7, 365, doesn't call in sick, doesn't call in dead, doesn't call in, I'm tired today. I mean, it's there. Your website is there to interact with your visitors, to interact with your products and your clients. That's the job of your website, is to be your voice, to be, and I just got a message that my internet connection is unstable. So I am going to turn off my camera just because I think that might make it a little bit more stable. So we'll just try this and see what happens. So yeah, so you spend all that time and you get no one. So let's look at why websites fail. Well, people build their sites too soon. They don't know what they're going to say. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know where to put the information, specific information on their sites. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Sherry and I have created this 5x5x5 framework. So 5 foundational questions that you need to ask yourself before you write a single word of copy. 5 foundational questions that you need to ask yourself before you even think of a logo or a design or anything like that. So these are all things that you need to do before you actually open up, download, or buy a domain, do all those things. So 5 foundational questions. Clarify your who, what, and why. 5 core messages. You need to craft your content, craft your message, and your message has to speak directly to your customer, directly to your client. And we'll get into that a little bit later about why that's so important. And then the 5 strategic areas, strategic sections of your website, and how to structure your site for success. So let's go on to the 5 foundational questions. So the very first one is, who are you talking to? If you don't know your ideal client, you have no idea, A, what to offer them, and B, how to tell them what you offer. So this might include, might require a little bit of research, but I think you can look at yourself and think of where you were 5 years ago and make some assumptions that you were your ideal client. Whatever you're doing right now is probably a result of something that you had a problem, you were looking for a solution, you could not find that solution, so you created it. So you, 5 years ago, is your ideal client. It could also be those people who you just absolutely love to work with. So you think about those people who are a joy, that you would serve them whether they were paying you or not, because you just enjoy working with them. Those can also be your ideal clients. And you want to think in terms of not only their age, their demographics, but think in terms of their values, how they interact with you, with other people. It's a good bet that they have similar values to you. If you enjoy working with them, they probably like some of the same things. Next question is, what problem are you solving? People don't buy things, they buy solutions. And so you come out with a solution to a problem, you need to be talking to the people who have that problem. Then what makes you different? Why are you so different than, I mean, why are Sherry and I different from other writing and design teams? Well, I think it's because we really have a heart and we really feel like this is a calling for us. This isn't just a way to make some money. This is a way to help someone create a business, build a business, make a business thrive. I think that's one of the things that makes us different. When someone comes to your website, what do you want them to do next? So I don't know if you remember the old newspaper, the newspaper boxes that you could put a quarter in. It's a lot more now, but put a quarter in, open it up, pull the newspaper out. Well, how did you know what was in the newspaper? They usually had one that was slid into the cover, and you were looking at what was above the fold. That's what that was. If you wanted someone, if you had a story that you really wanted someone to read, as an editor, you would put it above the fold because that's what people are going to see as they're walking by that paper box. Well, when someone opens up your website, that very first page that appears when they open, that's what we call above the fold. And if you don't attract someone's attention, I'm going to say within 5 seconds, they're going to back out and go to the next person that they found. And so you need to make sure that that very first message speaks to your client, talks about how you solve their problem, and then tells them what you want them to do next. And it could be something as simple as buy now or schedule a call. You don't want it to be something ambiguous like learn more. I don't know if I want to learn more or not, and I don't know what's going to happen when I click that button. And so I'm not sure I really want to learn more. You have questions. It's not your job as a visitor to come with questions. It's my job as the webpage owner to answer questions, to anticipate what your questions are and to answer them. So you don't want to ask them, what are your questions? If there are some questions that you know that they're going to ask, you create a frequently asked questions section, and they can go to that and find out the answers to those questions. But that's, as a website owner or website provider, that's your job, is to answer those questions. And then what can your clients expect after they work with you? So this all goes along with the StoryBrand framework. And I'm a StoryBrand guide. I don't know if you are aware of the StoryBrand framework, but in 2017, Donald Miller wrote a book called Building a StoryBrand. He released the second edition of that book this past January. He is comparing marketing to the story structure of the hero's journey. Now, How many of you think of your business as the solution, the hero of your client's story? You're there to save the day. That's your job. I'm going to tell you that that's not your job. Your job is not to be the hero of someone else's story. Your job is to guide them so that they become the hero of their own story. So imagine you're going through your life and someone steps in and solves the problem for you. You don't have to do anything. That's no fun. You know, when someone else steps in and becomes the hero of your story, that's not fun. So it's our job as business owners to guide our clients, guide our customers through the solution with a plan and a call to action so that they can reach success. They are the hero of their story. And that's basically what these 5 foundational questions are talking about. Next, we move on to 5 core messages. Who are you in one line? Now, you don't want to relate this to you. You want this to be related to your customer because they don't care that you've been in business for 40 years and that grandpa came over from the old country and started this business and your dad took it over and now you're in charge of it. They want to know that you are there in their small community to serve them, to provide them with the products that they need, that they want, that they don't have to go 30 miles into a big city to find what they want. They can find what they need at your small hardware store, your little town. They don't care that you have that you allow the Girl Scouts to come and sell cookies outside your store. They don't care that that you're that you serve on the city council unless you relate it to them. So you can always say something if you do sit on your city council. I have been representing the people of this community, and I want to hear what you have to say. You need to relate who you are to your client. Offer them the unique process that you have to be the solution to their problem. Give them the reasons to choose you. Choose me because I know what you're going through. I know what it's like to get into a project on a Saturday and find out that I don't have enough nails and now I have to go drive 45 minutes to get the nails. But instead, I know that you are open in my little town and I'm only going to have to go 5 minutes to go get the nails that I need because I didn't plan right. You're going to solve my problem because you are there in my community helping me figure these things out. What is your mission and your value? Your ideal clients will probably have very similar values to you. And then what's the social proof? Who have you helped in the past? That's where testimonials really come into play. This is where reviews on a Google business profile are so important because that is the primary thing that people look at before they actually go to a business. I think the statistic is that it's like 75% of people check the Google business profile or reviews of a company before they actually even go to a website or before they decide that they're going to even consider you as the person or the business to serve them. So you need to show how you have helped other people solve their problems and relate it to them. That's how you convert browsers into buyers. Next are the 5 strategic sections of your website. One is, of course, your homepage. Your homepage needs to have a header or a headline that attracts attention, tells your visitor what you do and how you help them in as short amount of time as possible. I think I heard that goldfish have the memory, like an 8-second memory, and that we humans, as we're surfing the internet, have less of a attention span than a goldfish, which doesn't say a whole heck of a lot for us. But it also is very evident. Just think about you as you're scrolling through Facebook, as you're scrolling through TikTok. When are you going to actually stop and watch an entire video? When someone catches your attention within the first few seconds. And it's the same way with your website, with your homepage. The next is your about section. I got news for you. Your about section is not about you. Your about section is how you serve your clients. So this is where you talk about the people you've served, the people you've helped. You can get into a little bit about your why this is important. I think that a lot of times when our customers figure out or find out our why, they feel like they understand us and know us a little bit better. And that creates a relationship with your customer, with your client. We don't want to be totally transactional. We want to be relational. And that means getting a little vulnerable and talking about why you decided to start your wedding cake business. You can say I hired someone to make my wedding cake, and 2 days before the wedding, they called and said that they fell and broke their leg and they can't do my cake. So now I have to figure out in 2 days where am I going to get my wedding cake? Well, that's when I figured out I could just make my wedding cake. And then other people started asking me to do that, and that's how I built my business. So when people can relate with you about your why and about how you serve, then they become more attached, more invested in you as a person, as a business owner. Your services summary, that is so important because it gives much more detail into what you do to help your clients solve their problem. So if they've gotten past your homepage and they've gotten past your about and they're now on your services page, you know you've attracted their attention. Now you can take a little bit more time to explain a little bit more about what it is that you do. And then your call to action, we call it a CTA, call to action. That is what you want your visitor to do next. You need to spell it out so clearly that there's no question that you want them to click this button or you want them to fill out this form. That is what your next that's what your call to action is. This is what I want you to do next. They don't have to think about it. They know that all they need to do is click on that button and they're going to follow along the path that you're leading them. Now there's something here called a lead magnet. A lead magnet is something that you give away in exchange for someone's email. Now, why do you need someone's email? You want to create a list that will allow you to speak directly to your clients. Well, I don't need an email list because I've got Facebook, I've got LinkedIn. I don't have to worry about an email list. Well, what happens when Facebook changes their algorithm? What happens when LinkedIn says you violated their terms of service and they kick you off? You've lost all of your contacts, or there's no way that they can get in touch with you. if you have an email list, you own that. You can still get in touch with your people. You can email them and say, I'm really sorry, but I apparently did something that angered the Facebook gods, and they said that they didn't want me on for 30 days. And so I'm just going to converse with you through, this is why I'm not appearing on Facebook, because I did something, I don't know what, but so you own your email list. That is the way that you can communicate with your people. And if you think of them as your people, then that makes them much more valuable to you. They're not just customers, they're your people. So, what are some common pitfalls? Pitfalls. Focusing on we or I instead of you. You can include something like your designer asked you for the copy for your website. What are you going to do? Do you have time to sit down and write the copy for all the pages of your website? No, you don't have time. But your designer can't build your website until he or she gets your copy. So your website sits there and waits for you to build your copy. That is talking to the client, not saying, I will build your website in a week, or I will build your website in a day. The other thing is information overload. Too much text, not enough clarity. When you confuse your customers, you lose. A confused customer does not buy. If they have to waste calories to figure out what it is that you are selling and what it is that you do to serve them, they're going to go someplace else. So make sure that you don't use a whole lot of text. And you know what it's like to go to a website where it's just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. You don't want to read that either, do you? So think about what it is that you like about websites and use that for yours. The next one is that they actually design before they know what they're going to say. I've got a really, really pretty website, but nobody does anything with it. Nobody clicks on my links. Nobody clicks on my button. Nobody takes my lead magnet. A pretty website doesn't sell. A clear website sells. And then having a missing or a weak call to action. No clear step, no clear next step. If your visitor doesn't know what you want them to do next, they're going to go someplace who does tell them where to go next. So what comes next here? I will be sending each one of you a copy of Sherry's and my 5x5x5 framework, which will talk a lot about all of these things, and it will help you go through and ask some of these questions of yourself so that you can start some planning before you actually start designing. Make sure that you are clear on what you do. Something else to think about, people don't know your lingo. So you can't use the words from the terms from your industry. You have to be able to spell them out. So for me to say want a lead magnet to someone who has no idea what a lead magnet is ridiculous, because I don't know if I want a lead magnet or not. I have no idea. I don't know what one is. Do you want something to give your visitors for free so they give you your email? Oh, yeah, I want that. That's what I want. And then you have options. You can, Serena said she's a DIYer. She likes to do things herself. A lot of us do that. A lot of us feel the same way. I want to do it myself. But if you're waiting to do it yourself, how long are you going to wait before you decide, I can't do this myself? I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I'm not really sure what to do next. That's when you hire someone to do it with you. And that's what the Done in a Day website is all about. I will talk a little bit more about that next. But what are some things that I didn't talk about here today? I didn't talk to you about your domain. What's a domain? I didn't talk to you about the name of your website. I didn't talk to you about where your website's going to live. I didn't talk to you about how do you start an email list? What do I have to do that? Do I have to pay for that? So why isn't having a Gmail account or Gmail email address good enough? Well, it's just not that professional. Those are some things that we can talk about in a complimentary website warm-up call. And we will talk about how to create a domain name, how to figure out if that domain name is available. You can go to calendly.com/doneinaday-website-info. I will put this in the chat. And schedule some time with Sheree, and absolutely no obligation whatsoever. Just want to make sure that you are comfortable knowing, how do I get a domain? Where do I get a domain? How much should I expect to pay for it? What do you mean, where does my website live? It lives on my computer. No, it does not live on your computer. Your computer is not on 24/7. But there are places that out there called hosting sites that are on 24/7. Exactly. It lives on another computer, Ben. And then again, why do I have to have an email list? Why do I need to be able to keep track of the people who I've talked to? Some of you who signed up on, who registered through my landing page, which is another word that a lot of people don't understand, received a series of emails from me. That was all part of my customer relationship management system. I'm not sitting here waiting for you to register for my webinar, but as soon as you do, my customer relationship management system says, oh, look, you filled out this form. I'm going to say that he has this tag, and anytime someone has this tag, I'm supposed to send them this email. And then I'm supposed to wait so many days and then send them this email. And then I wait so many days and I send them the next email. And that's all the automation that your customer relationship management system does. So you don't have to. So why do you need that? Those are the types of things that we'll talk about during our website warm-up call. What is next? All right, so most people do not have a plan. They sit down and they start looking around and they think, oh, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to build my site. This is what I want it to look like. I want it to have these colors, but they don't take the time to stop and figure out who they're talking to, what it is they want to say, and where they want to say it. And once you are able to do that, then you will build a site that attracts your clients, speaks directly to them, and converts them from visitors into buyers. All right. So don't make this just another webinar. we've got a friend who says wealth rewards speed. You could have a functioning website by this time next Friday. Heck, you could have a functioning website by Tuesday afternoon at 5 o'clock. How would that sound? How would that be for you? Now, you registered for this webinar for a reason. I hope that you got some value. A lot of times that the prospect of doing all these things can be really overwhelming. It can be almost too overwhelming. It can feel like I don't know what to do next. Where do I go? What button do I push? If I push this button, does that mean I have to buy it? Don't let that uncertainty stop you. There's nothing that is life and death here with a website. There's nothing that you can do that is going to cause you to go to jail or any of those terrible things that we think of when we think, oh, I'm going to make a mistake. It's a website, but it's the way you talk to your people. And if you would like some more information about our Done in a Day website program, you can email us at info@doneinaday.website.com or visit our website. There's that. Or just go and set up a meeting with us. There's absolutely no obligation. It is totally complimentary. We just want to make sure that you know what these words mean, what you're buying. If I bought the domain, why do I have to buy hosting? Well, your domain is like your address. Hosting is your host. So just because you have an address doesn't mean you have a house. So you have to have both. I am open to any questions you might have. Sherry is here. I don't know if you have something else. I kind of took this over. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add, but we are more than welcome to answer any questions that you have, and we'd love to be able to serve you however that looks, even if it's answering a question. That's all. So you go ahead and unmute and ask your questions if you'd like to.
Crickets. Great job, Susie.
Crickets, yeah. We.
Got like
All right.
3 questions, so I'll just wait for someone to go first.
Oh, go ahead, Eugene.
Perfect. So you mentioned the 5 core messages earlier. Actually, before I lead to that, really appreciate your presentation information. So thank you. You've mentioned about the core messages. So do you typically recommend all these to be at the home page to really grab all these attention, or do you usually recommend them to be split across the different sections as you recommend?
I think it makes sense to spread them out. I mean, you can reference things, and Ben, you do this too. So you answer anything that any of your thoughts here are very welcome.
Oh, thanks, Susie. I was just here to listen.
I don't think you
learn, network.
Oh my
learning
gosh,
this stuff because I've done it for so long.
I learned from you, Ben.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
I don't think it's something that you want to bombard people with. This is my mission statement. This is my vision statement. This is what I believe. This, I think the way you word things, the way you talk, and you want to write your copy the way you talk. You don't want someone to be talking to you and then go to your website and think, who is this professor? Okay. So how you talk is important. That's called your voice. That's what you sound like, and that's what people expect when they read what you write. So I don't think you have to have it all in one spot. I think it would make sense to spread it out, but to include in some of the things you talk about. You
Mhm.
know, why am I not going to charge you for blah, blah, blah? Because I don't believe that that's something that I should charge you for.
Mhm.
But I would really, really like the opportunity to explain to you what it is that I do and let you choose.
Mhm.
I think our goal, Sherry's and my goal here, is to make sure that our clients are informed and empowered to
Mhm.
make the decisions they need to make to do what's best for their business.
Mhm.
And if that means you talk to us for 30 minutes and you go to somebody else to build your site,
Mhm.
yeah, be disappointed. We'll be disappointed. But that's the goal. The goal is to get you so you know what you're buying, so you
Mhm.
can build the best thing to represent your business. Eugene, you said you had a couple more.
Yeah, I'll stick to the second one. It's in certain way, I agree on, what I do unique and special. I understand the unique selling point. I'm also mindful of the fine balance where if I put in the unique offering of what I do and the approach, not in details, my competitors would also be able to adjust their offering or the angle the same way as well. So just that level of thoughts on how to balance uniqueness, but also not to lose your competitiveness or uniqueness by sharing.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Sherry?
On the unique, I think that's where like working with a story brand writer and helping you hone your message in a way that not everybody's doing. There's not a lot of people that are aware of the story brand messaging
Mm-hmm.
platform, and to approach your business and your website as how your client is coming looking for. What is it they need? What is their pain point? Why are they looking into you? And to have that like on your home, on that top part of your screen, you got to be able to grab them right there, like get at their heart, and then talk about their journey and their struggles, and then how you save the day. Your competition probably isn't doing that. They're just like, here's my website, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that uniqueness is going to show. And if they copy you, then that's going to be obvious. But I think that you're going to stand out from most of your competition by doing something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And your competition isn't you. No one can do what you do the way you do it.
I
They're not
appreciate
having
you.
the same gifts you are. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thought you said did you have one more or do you?
Nope. The last one is okay. Thank you.
All right. Isfan, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is that because I know about you that you are a content and copywriter as well. So I wonder if you are creating copies and text content which are SEO friendly.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that before our day with you to actually build your site, we spend about an hour with you talking about those values, the mission, why you started your business, what it is that you want to provide, talk about what people search for when they're looking for you. Now, in 8 hours, we can't do a full SEO audit and look at everything, but we can do things with keywords, and SEO is changing. SEO is, people don't search with words anymore. They search with questions, with full questions. And so that's something that we are aware of, that people are changing the way that they search. And so we do keep that in mind. We do keep that in mind when we're writing.
Yeah, and so if someone needs, then you can help them with keyword suggestions as well. So you can suggest.
Yeah, we won't go really in depth, but we can come up with some pretty some keywords that will work for you and your business. Like I said, in 8 hours, we're not going to be able to do an entire SEO audit, but we will certainly do some figuring out of the best keywords to use for your site. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Ben, go right ahead.
I was just throwing up my hand because you said I could contribute. So I had a few thoughts about
Yes, please do.
Eugene's questions, and I haven't met Sherry before. I didn't realize you're working with Sherry. So hi, Sherry.
I've been nice.
So with Eugene's questions too, what I often do with copy for marketing and from a market research perspective is I'll do interviews with people and clients, and I might even interview their customers too to find out why they bought that particular service. And oftentimes when you're putting copy together, it helps to have an understanding of your clients' ideas of you and their brand voice, but also you're right, Susie, too, the way they talk, right, and the way you talk. And so often when you do an interview, and I've done this, interviewed a client or a client's client, and then using some fun stuff with Otter AI to transcribe the interview, then going back and actually being able to listen to that conversation again, like sort of go through it and edit the conversation because of the way Otter AI transcribes it. I find that if you listen to the audio and then edit the transcript from Otter AI of that audio conversation that you've had, then you pick up a lot of things that you've missed and a lot of details as well. The other thing you do is you pick up a lot about the way they talk. And I don't want to say cut and pasted, but sometimes there's passages of the person's comments to you about why they bought a service within that transcript from Otter AI that you can actually use that to write copy, and you sort of lift it out of the Otter AI transcript,
Right.
put it in a text edit document. And obviously you've got your own ideas about how to, and if you've done a lot of writing like Susie has, and I have, you've got a way to formulate sort of the intro and then the meat of the argument or the meat of the message. And then you've used the transcript and the interview with clients to then craft that message around that.
And I think you maybe wonder, do we use AI? Well, let me tell you how I use AI when I'm writing my copy. I take the transcript of the interview that we do with you, and I ask AI to give me back what that interview tells about your values, the way you talk, the way you think. And then what I can do is when I'm writing copy, the AI has that original interview, and I can take my copy and put it in and say, what have I missed? What did I miss here? What else is important that should be in this copy? And I think it just makes me a better writer to be able to look and see what it is that I've missed and what else I can add. So yes, I use AI, but that's how I use it.
And I think the AI thing is going to come up again and again, right? And I've used AI for content and ideation, and I had a freelance writing gig that was sports where I hadn't done much college football, but the AI, when you plunked in the topic that I was assigned for, like US college football, I wrote it for an entire season. Using ChatGPT, I paid for it. I would dump the topic into ChatGPT, and they're like, please do not lift the copy out of ChatGPT that you've used or that ChatGPT's created for you based on a college football topic. Please do not do that. But I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But it would write you an article because you prompted it based on the college football topic. The other thing it would do is it would do research for you and give you a bunch of links to actual articles that it's collated off the internet. And then when you go to those articles written by actual people, then you can read about the topic and go, okay, I can do research this way and quote this article.
Yeah. The other thing I might do is give me some ideas based on the transcript of this interview. Give me some ideas of topics that we should focus on the homepage. Give me some ideas of things that we should bring out on the about page. And a lot of times I get ideas that I probably never would have thought of on my own. Or I might have thought of, but it might have taken me like 3 weeks, and I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, oh, I should have done this. Chat tells me right away, you should focus on this. Okay, let me focus on that. And I do use Perplexity a lot for my research. and something called Cove and Notebook LM. So it really helps the research go very quickly. It just makes me a better writer, I think. So
And
are
even
there
like
any other questions?
even
Oh,
when it
go ahead,
comes to
Sharon.
SEO and things like that, using Google, using AI, and finding out like what are the trends, what are people searching for? Like if they're looking for a landscaping company, you can put in there what are people searching for, and like we know Susie and I know someone who teaches a Pinterest Academy, and Pinterest has
Wow.
built in
Interesting.
for keywords, and it can tell you like the back end of Pinterest what the top searches are. So you can see like 1 million people have searched for this topic or this topic, and you put in your topic and it'll tell you all the kinds of pins that are out there that are trending. So it's like there's all kinds of
Interesting.
tools out there that are just great for research and helping you find the information that is going to really help out your site.
I didn't know that about Pinterest. That's really interesting.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's neat.
We need to talk about it sometime, Ben, because Pinterest is you think Pinterest is for homemakers and figuring out how to make a birthday cake, and no,
Not anymore. Yeah.
not anymore.
I have a Pinterest account that I got in 2017, and it's a personal account, and I don't use it anything else for out of curiosity about Pinterest, and because I was doing a job for quite a while, and it was a sales job, but it was men's fashion for a really well-known retail chain in Canada called Simons. And they're like, yeah, if you're working here, get a Pinterest account because there's lots of good stuff you can get off there on men's fashions, and you're trying to give people advice, right?
Yeah.
Lately, I kept the account, but because I have a podcast that's my own, that's sports focused, that's focused on Vancouver, Canada area sports where I live, I'm like, I'm not going to can this Pinterest account. I'm going to turn it into my podcast Pinterest account. And I post pictures on it that I take at sporting events, and then I link to my podcast with those links.
Perfect.
Right. So I didn't throw the account away. I've turned it into something different. So if people are searching for those topics on Pinterest, it's going to come up.
Yeah. And I said the algorithm
And-
works in a way that it takes like 6 months. So if you're going to have an offer or try and hit a subject matter,
Yeah.
like say, you should start pinning on the holidays right now or something winter sports.
Right.
So that the algorithm is going to be pushing your pins at the timing you want it to hit. It's like there's so much I just never even fathomed Pinterest would go
There's
that
so
way.
much to think about.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like social media posts are valid for like hours.
Right.
Your Pinterest post is relevant for months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I wish I used Pinterest more, but
I know, me too.
anyway.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is all about. So, any other questions here? All
I
right.
don't think so.
I-
Thank you for
I
including me,
thank you.
Susie. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Ben. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I'm glad I could make it.
And I appreciate all the rest, Isfan and Eugene and Christina and John and the other folks who left. I'm just very grateful and thankful that you came today. I will be sending out another message afterward with the different links and things that I said that I would provide. And please schedule some time with us. Sherry and I would be very, very happy to answer any of your questions you have about websites, what it means to build one, or where to start. And like I said, we just really want to help you help your business thrive. So I thank you so much. And with that, I think we are complete. So thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Nice meeting everyone.
Thank you so much, Susie and Sherry. It was really valuable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.